Hey beauty lovers, this is Serena. Welcome to my workstation. Today we'll be making something super interesting. We'll be making a facial milk that it's going to combat acne. This is an acne based treatment. Let me quickly walk you guys through what I have laid out here. I'll be using my distilled water at 65.95%. I used jojoba oil in this formula. You can feel free to choose any carrier oil of your choice. I'll be going in my glycerin at 2% and my propylene glycol at 4%. In this little beaker here is my salicylic acid. I dissolved this salicylic acid and it's a 3% strength, but I'll be using a 2% in this formula. I hope you guys understand what I mean by that. In here, it's my polysorbate at 3%. And the reason why we'll be using polysorbate here is it will serve as a solubilizer and also a cleansing agent. Okay, in here I have my pumpkin extract and I'll be using that at 1%. Okay, in that beaker I have my hyaluronic acid at 0.25%, and I'll also be going in with a polymer here, and the polymer that we'll be using in this formula is sepimaxzen. And shortly I'll tell you guys the reason why we're going in with sepimaxzen in this formula, the reason why we're incorporating it. And I have my allantoin at 1%. EDTA here is at 0.2%, and I also have my citric acid, which is will be serving as our buffer here to kind of adjust the pH of this formula. And in those three beakers are my alcohol, did I just say my alcohol, my emulsifying wax and my co-emulsifiers that I'll be using for this formula. So I'm just going to section this part, the oil soluble parts and the water soluble parts. So I'm just going in with all the water phase. I'm going in with my EDTA, my pumpkin extract, and my glycerin. I went in also with my propylene glycol, and I went in with my extract, which is my pumpkin extract. I just give that a little bit of a mix, and I'm just going to clean film that and put it over a double boiler. So in here I'm just incorporating the oil phase. We're going to melt down all the wax and the co-emulsifiers, to liquidate, and we come back with the mixture. So in here I'm just checking the temperature. The temperature has to drop to about 50 degrees. Then you can go in with about 50 to 45 degrees. Okay, about 45 degrees is just fine. Then you go in with your polysorbate, you mix that in, go in with your allantoin, and make sure it all dissolves properly before you start incorporating every other item. So what I did here was to make sure I dissolve all the liquid that I just added, make sure that everything goes round, and making sure that the allantoin dissolves properly before I added the remaining water phase. And at this point the temperature has really dropped to about 40 degrees, and I went in with my hyaluronic acid, which sometimes could be just funny, and I just got my stick blender and gave it a little bit of a whisk, and that's turned somewhat cloudy, but it's okay if it happens because we incorporated polysorbate in this formula, and hence the cloudy and foamy part of what you can see now. But it's no big deal, it's just going to be fine. And what I was done, when I finished doing that, I just took out my stick blender and I went in with my my stirring rod and give it a little bit of a mix to make sure that I don't have any other thing going down the beaker. So what I did right now was to add in my sepimaxzen, which is a polymer. And the reason I'll be using sepimaxzen in this formula is because sepimaxzen it's a kind of emulsifier that takes care or brings together an alcohol-based product and an acid. So I'm working with salicylic acid here, and this my salicylic acid is dissolved with alcohol. Now, if you can, there's some liquid salicylic acid that is sold in the market. Do well to ask your vendor what type or how it's being dissolved. Is it dissolved with propedior, or is it oil soluble? Do well to ask your vendor the type of salicylic acid that you're buying. That way you would know how you use it in your formula. So if your salicylic acid is alcohol based and you don't use the right emulsifier, you might just have your lotion separating, and that won't be nice. You just see the oil going to one side and everything not coming all together, and that's not what you want in your formula. Okay, try as much as possible to also do research before you go into formulating your recipe. So right now I'm going in with the measured 2% of a 3-strength salicylic acid. Like I said, the strength of the salicylic acid we're using here is 3%, and I'm just using 2% to make this formula. So I added it in, and I'm just trying to give it a little bit of a mix, and that's what I'm doing here. And at this point, if you look straight into the beaker, you will see that it's thickening up, and it's going to kind of hydrate more, and we're going to have more like a milky consistency, which is what I'm looking for in this formula. Okay guys, so what I did now was to measure out my preservative. And do well when you're working with acid, do well to use a preservative that has a large what's it called, that could cover both acidic pH range and alkaline pH. So I used Jama Plus for this formula, and this production that we did had about 4.5% pH level. So remember, we added citric acid in this formula, and that helped to bring the pH to what I wanted. It's a formula that I've done before, so I just decided to share it with you guys. It's sellable. You can do it and use it on your own. You can do it and sell it to your customers. So I went in with my sandalwood essential oil here. This is totally optional. If you want to add essential oil, do well to do so. Go ahead and add any essential oil of your choice. If you don't want, you can just leave it out. It's not too much of an important recipe to add to this formula. So if you look into the beaker, you can see it has hydrated properly, and we're having more like a milky lotion like consistency, and this is pretty lovely. And I love the smell because of polysorbate in this formula. It gave it more like a milky kind of smell, and that was really lovely. It's something that I just thought I should share with you guys. If you've been watching this video up to this moment and you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please do well to support your girl by hitting that subscribe button below and hit on the notification bell beside it to get notified each time I upload a new video. If there's anything you want me to share with you guys on this channel, do well to request under the description, the comment section. And this is our milky cream or facial cream that combats acne. This works super good, and you guys, please forgive me the gloves I'm wearing in this video. It's I've just been through a lot of production, and I just felt like it's time for me to share something with you guys. I'm sorry for being absent. I'll come your way again. I remain your favorite girl, Sarina. Until then, keep that glow pumping. Love you guys.